All right, so the last steps in your clay process, after you have scored, slipped, and smoothed all of your three-dimensional items on here, and just as a heads up, this person has not, I'm stealing their stuff from them. But once you've attached things so that they will survive the 2000 degrees in the kiln and you've scored, slipped, and smoothed them, your last steps of your process are all cosmetic items. So it's all about making your clay animal mirror look good. The first thing I want you guys to do before you bring your stuff for me for final approval for us to start drying it out is I want you to very gently lift up your clay animal mirror and look at it from the side. All right, what you're looking for is, can you see any seam where one piece of clay is separate from the other, where there's a little line? If the answer is yes, I need you to go back in, grab your green clay tool like this, and pull a little bit of clay over that seam. Okay, so you're gonna make that line go away. I saw it a little bit here. This person could even do it here. I'm seeing it right on the head of this animal. I'm not gonna do that for that artist because they can figure that out. But basically, we wanna make all of the seams look as good as the way that this one looks in here. See how there is no line that separates one piece of clay from the other? There's no evidence of baby bite marks. It's been smoothed with water on their finger. All the seams need to look like that. So that's the first thing you're gonna check for, okay, before you bring it to me. The second thing that I'm gonna make you do is, there is something that's personal that drives me a little bit crazy, and basically what it is when I rolled out the clay for you all and used the slab roller leaves a little bit of a texture, okay? So anything that's like slightly bumpy or whatever, we want to get rid of that texture. So you can actually take your fingers, I'm going to do this side for this person, and if you very gently drag it in a direction, it's going to smooth out the surface of that clay and make that texture go away. All right, sometimes you can see it on the animals themselves. You're probably gonna wanna do that as well, but if you have detail carved in there, you're gonna wanna be careful about it. And keep in mind, if you smooth over something in the process of smoothing out your animal, you might have to go back in and recarve some of those details with your needle tool. Okay, so just be aware of that. The other places that I need you all to smooth out for me are this inside edge. We want to make this as smooth as humanly possible, make it look all kinds of nice looking. We don't want any sharp, jagged edges there. Also the outside edge of your frame. All right, so something that looks like this, you're gonna want to smooth out with your finger. Same deal with this as well. Okay, so all around the edge here, all along the perimeter, you would rub that inside edge as well, okay? If your clay's not gonna wanna move on you, you can use a little bit of water in your finger, but keep in mind, any water that you add, if you add too much, it's gonna be fighting against you. It's gonna make your clay kind of soupy and icky, and it's just gonna be harder to work with, okay? Last but not least, once you have made sure that stuff's attached properly, you don't see a line, all your edges have been smoothed out. You smoothed out the inside edge, the outside edge, and the surface of your piece. What I would like for you to do is flip your frame over to the back very gently, and you are gonna carve your first and last name, okay? Fairly deep and fairly large, somewhere like along here with your needle tool. If you make it small, or if you just do initials, you're gonna regret it later on, because I got 150 of you guys, and I'm gonna be sorting these by block, and I know what block you're in, but it helps me if your first and last name is on it. So you're gonna carve it in here with your needle tool, large, just so that I can kind of figure out how to sort these at the very end. You can actually see the texture on this person's on the back. See how this is the texture of the slab roller? We couldn't see it as well on the front. You can make that go away if you see that texture on the front with just a little bit of pressure on your finger. So something that looks like that. So just some reminders for some finishing steps. Make sure baby bite marks are smoothed out all the way around your 3D objects. If they pull apart in the kiln, not fixing it for you. Please smooth out the surface with just pressure in your finger on your objects as well as your background. And then make sure to smooth out the inside and the outside edge of your frame just so that it's a nice smooth edge rather than kind of awkward jaggedy edges, okay? From there, you can carve your name on the back, large and in detail, and you can bring your frame to me, and you're done, ready to dry it out.